Brand Decoded, episode 9, when to quit your job. This topic is very dear to me because it's a turning point in my life when I've decided to quit, and what were my prospects when I was quitting. And one of the things that I want to say to you about making that decision to quit the job is for you to understand that it will never be a perfect time for you to quit the job. There will always be some life circumstance that will push you away from making that leap. And I think it's very personal when you will feel that you are ready for it. And one of the things that pushed me over the edge, I had a little bit of a stable side hustle income. I would say like $5,000 a month of monthly recurring revenue, or what it appeared to me at this moment in time as $5,000 worth of monthly recurring revenue. And because it turned out quickly after that it wasn't the case. And I also had a very stable lead flow of the new prospective customers coming into the ecosystem. This influx of leads is the most important thing that can give you a lot of faith that you can keep shooting the hoops even when you are not driving the results, because you always have another shot at target, always have another shot. And when you have that amount of volume of qualified prospects coming your way, it literally becomes an impossibility for you to reach 10K a month, which I've done towards the end of the first year. I think that my first 10K a month was, I would say, it wasn't a first 10K month. It was like a $16,000 month that occurred on, I would say, November 2019. So like I blew past the 10K. I just like went straight for the higher number, and I was already like 11 months in the game. Prior to that, I think like 5,000-6,000 per month was the rough number. But the most important thing, I was very careful. Like I can't say, compared to where I am today, comparing to where I was back in 2019, my confidence levels are massively changed. And the fact that confidence has a direct correlation between how much you're earning, that's why there's so many dumb people making a lot of money, because they just repeat the motions of the things that are based on the confidence alone, and then they get the results because of the confidence and doing that thing that is keeping them confident, even though sometimes they don't even have anything to back up that confidence. In my case, I just had a lot of leads and we were offering a good price, which is not the best way to grow. That's something that I'm teaching in Conversion Insider cohort for Infinite Deals. And join the Conversion Insider newsletter so you can learn more about the opportunities that are coming with the service-based business. But me shooting the hoops and ensuring that I have a healthy pipeline of deals coming in is what kept me sane in the game. And that's 2018 October. We generated the first flow of referral leads coming from Victor and Toma. You can read about how I made first $100,000 as a service provider. It's another video. I'm gonna try to figure out how to link it in this video so you don't have to click around the YouTube channel to find it, but it's a really powerful story. That video didn't take off on YouTube, but it's a really good story that is gonna give you more details on how I got to a point where I'm at today. But the most important thing is that I had a strong influx of leads. I started generating good money with a partner. So that money was like really weird because I was making more, but at the end of the day, I was getting less because I was splitting with the partner and the employees, etc. So it wasn't enough. And then I had to break that relationship up and go on my own starting March 2019. But that's besides the point. We were pulling in some weeks, even $10,000 in a given week. And I was like, this is taking off. But it was like 5 years of persistence and trying to shoot the hoops casually, right? I was building up the momentum. and me having the side hustle income for years, like, every month you get like an extra $2,000, $3,000. It's a world changing. Like my salary would be like 6 and 7 after taxes, 6, 7 after taxes. And then on top of that, I would get like 2, 3 more. So I was like 10K a month with the paycheck. So I think that a lot of people, like, they want to quit their jobs there because they're miserable. If you are in that situation that you want to quit your job because you're miserable, get the new job, because that misery that you are feeling and experiencing right now does not translate well into entrepreneurship unless you're like having some sizable gains from your side income that it's time to get ready to start popping on the next level. But if you were asking me, is it the right time to quit? Have like a 5-6 consecutive months with making 5K a month before you go part-time. That's also an option, right? You don't have to quit right away. You can get the part-time role, especially for the people that are working remote. You guys have 2 hours of extra time per day to any one of the other people that are driving to the work and spend 2 hours in a commute. So if you're working a remote job, keep that job as long as possible, because it doesn't get easier than having a remote job. If my job was remote, God knows, maybe I would still be employed today, having a job plus side hustle income with even less stress, because having a stable, reliable income is good, because you need to tackle the mental game of entrepreneurship and sales if you're deciding to start a service-based business. And even if you're like just doing coaching, it's still a roller coaster of emotions of going into the coaching and having like a monthly target of making 10K. And then you have to put in a lot of sales calls on the calendar, a lot, in order to ensure, like, you need to get, let's say that your coaching package is $5,000. You need to be able to put out a lot of feelers out and a lot of prospective leads coming into your system, so that you know that you can process that on the sales part, that you can do enough of the prospecting and finding enough of the clients that you would like to work with, and then extending them the offer. It's that simple. So I see a lot of people that are feeling that they're ready without having some of these basics in place. Bear in mind, I've been side hustling for 5 years. When I was moving out, I was like, I should have done this 2 years ago. But given the other challenges in my personal life, especially like dealing with uncertainty of immigration and making sure that my taxes are cleaned up and everything, I wasn't able to start my own business before this point. Actually, if I waited for another year, it wouldn't be that bad, because I had a whole set of other problems that other people don't have. If you're born in the States, English is your native language, you already have a head start. You already are more natural to talk to than someone who needs to learn a secondary language. So use that advantage. But bear in mind, you need to get to having 4 to 6 months of $5,000 of additional revenue to be considered that you are in the game. And you don't have to quit right away. You can ease into it. You can move part-time. You can ask for a remote for less pay. There's a lot of options that are going to allow you to sustain this for the long haul. The worst thing you can do is go bravado and crazy and say, I'm going to do this. And then you go on the excitement, and then you face the reality of being afraid for the income and being afraid how you're going to meet your rent. And when that occurs, your sales game goes down. You cannot sell if you're not in the right frame of mind. It just doesn't work. The sales game doesn't work if you don't have like a little bit of a cushion. I remember when I quit my job, I had cleaned up all my debt. I was the debt zero. I had 30K on the side. And I was like, I have for the next 6 months, to pay my rent and my basic expenses. And then I dived in and I was prospecting and I was on the phone 24/7. It was totally worth it. And that's how I got to a position where the lead flow generated itself and it built up a momentum. So you have calls lined up, you have past conversations you had. It kind of creates a cycle of of your sales flow, that some new leads are coming in, some old ones are being pushed further down the funnel, some are signing the contracts, etc. It has its own rhythm. Like service-based business, when it's your only source of revenue, it has its own rhythm. And if I could go back in time, I would have done so many things so much dramatically different that I wouldn't have situations where I would incur a fear of chargeback. I had for the last 5 years, I had 2 chargebacks in total, and both times client was not acting in good faith. It was not very nice experience for either of those situations, because the work and services were provided and rendered, and the client was like, oh, well, I don't have the emails. So you will have to deal with these issues. If you start doing something like this, these issues will come up. So what happens when you have to pay a rent and your client decided to do a chargeback on your account? And then you're dealing with missing not only the $2,500 that they're charging you back on, you also have to pay the people that have done the work for those $2,500, right? So you're double loss. You didn't lose just $2,500. You lost also on top of that, a labor that you paid out, let's say $1,000. So your loss is not 2.5K, it's like 3.5, 4K, that came out of that circumstance. So you have to build yourself up. You have to build up that resilience, knowing that sometimes you can take a hit in business. It's not always like rainbows and unicorns and LGBT flags when starting a business. There's a reality to the situation that people don't necessarily want to tell you about. So I just want to keep the realistic prospects of you understanding when is a good time to quit your job. If you have 6 months worth of 5K a month, if you have $30, $40, $50,000 in a bank, no crazy debt to loom over your head, then it's the right time. But prior to that, grind, side hustle as long as you can. Hire early, provide services, hire, offload to someone else. There's an art in hiring people that are good, that want to have a stable income. You're providing stability, and as a result, you're providing predictable outputs for your clients. All right, Brand Decoded over and out. I hope you enjoyed this one.